Hi, this is Dan Short from A Matter of Fiction. Due to a technical error during the recording process, tonight's show contains occasional glitches in the audio. These have been corrected for the most part, however this does mean that Rory and the panellists' voices will occasionally change into mine. We're sorry for the issue and hope you enjoy the final.
Hello and welcome to
Matter of Fiction.
I'm your host Rory Cooke, and in this programme we impart strange truths and concoct weird lies. This week we are live from the Storm FM production studio.
Yay!
This week on Team Start we have the captain. He's got the key and the secret, Gareth Monk.
I'm giving up looking bad for Lent. I just started 21 years early.
And his guest reduces 7 signs of ageing, Phil Carruthers.
Word up, home slice.
And on
Team Fire,
we have captain, too sexy for his shirt, Adrian MacIlroy Speed.
I'm not sure I've ever been loved in a meaningful way.
And his guest, possibly a possum, Rory Cooke Dobson.
Hey, what's happening?
Welcome to the show, everyone. Woo! And just a reminder to everyone, this is actually the final of Series 2 of A Matter of Fiction. And so whoever wins this, wins Series 2, hence the final aspect, I guess. Stranger Than Fiction is our first round, and each team is given a real but ridiculous fact. They then make up the other 2 facts within 30 seconds, and the other team must guess which is the actual fact. So I'll just give the teams the facts. There we go. Okay, give you a moment to read them. And I'll give you 30 seconds now.
Okay,
So this is my time to talk. We did have a competition. What is the capital of Australia? Is it A, Sydney, B, Perth, C, Canberra? And we had a total of 1 email in for the competition, and it's an email from a Rory Cooke, and he got it wrong. So there was no winners of that competition. So we'll run another one next series, I think. Alright teams, your 30 seconds is up.
Okay.
Team Star, kick us off.
Okay, our facts are all based around vehicles and music therein. Our first fact is that American car horns beep in the tone of F.
Next fact is, the most popular ice cream van tune is Teddy Bear's Picnic.
And our third fact is, when jet engines power up, they do so whilst going through a rising G major scale.
A G major scale?
Yes, a G major scale.
so could someone play?
A whole musical within that G major scale of just jet engine noises?
Maybe if people had the time, the resources and the money, but I think jet engines are better served as jet engines rather than musical instruments. Can you imagine one in a concert hall environment?
Lauren?
Question, what happens if they don't go in a G major scale, or is that an impossibility?
Well, I think it's, I don't think it's really frowned upon if they don't. I think it's just convenient if they do.
Adrian?
If they don't go in a G major scale, they may experience some turbulence and then explode.
Right. Okay.
Tone of F.
For the American car horns. Yeah, that's
American
right.
car
Yeah.
horns.
American car horns in the tone of F. Basically, American car horns, they did a study when first inventing the car horn in America, and they found that the tone of F was the most pleasing to American ears, so that is why it is gone for.
Lauren?
What about those novelty car horns that people are always using? Surely they use a variety of
Tones? Well, it's not.
Legally enforced. They don't shoot people for not having F. That's just the stock one that it comes with.
Adrian?
If it was the most pleasing note to the American ear, wouldn't they always want to be hitting their car horns?
Gary?
Pleasing for a car horn, not pleasing as in generally pleasing.
Phil?
Well, exactly, it's that kind of toss-up between, it's sort of harmonious, but it does have that kind of symbol of aggression. Like if you watch any kind of typical American film, all the horns are in F. There's like Steve McQueen going, that wasn't F, that was G, but no one cares. But yeah, you get the point. It kind of symbolises power, as in, yeah, I know, if somebody cuts you up in a Mini or something and it's got some tinny little silly horn, that isn't very kind of manly and going, compressed air, suggesting anger.
Wow.
That's very in-depth.
Lauren?
So what do you think it is about Teddy Bear's Picnic that makes it the most popular ice cream van tune?
I'm going to put the question back to you, Lauren. What doesn't...
Rory, you're doing our job for us.
What has ice cream got to do with teddy bears?
What has ice cream got to do with...
Vans.
Rory, you just blew my mind.
Karen?
Well, they found that it was amongst children of the ages between 4 and 10. It was the most popular tune to have an ice cream van. It attracts them. It's like the Pied Piper for ice cream. That sounds slightly dubious. Don't read into that. But it just is. It just, it's just a pleasing tune to the ears. I'm sure Phil will back me up on this.
Oh, you see, with that tune, there's an ideology that goes with it. You know, there's your ice cream schema and there's your teddy bear's picnic schema, and they have common elements like kind of innocence and kind of tasty things, and a kind of happier time before the inevitable downfall into like middle age and incontinence and eventual death.
Lauren?
Why would you be incontinent in middle age?
No, incontinence comes after middle age.
Oh.
Fact.
We deal in facts, people.
Okay, Team Fire, what is it to be? Is it to be the
F horns.
the G-scale engines or the ice cream picnics?
I think the jet engine is right out,
Already.
but the other two are quite plausible.
Both of them are quite plausible. But the ice cream one sounds good.
No, I think it's the horn.
Really?
Yeah, most car horns do sound the same.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want me to, I won't say
Oh,
it,
no. I'm putting my faith in you.
Oh dear, this can't end well.
Well, it is up to the team captain.
Yeah.
So, Team Fire, what is your decision?
We think American car horns sound in the tone of F.
That is 100% true.
Oh! That means Team Fire, they get 2 points. Team Star, you've just conceded 2, but can you bring them back? Team Fire, let's have your facts.
The earliest production of the Lion King musical used real lions.
The blood in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho was chocolate syrup.
And fact.
3. Singing in the Rain was actually performed singing in milk.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna kick us off for one. The Lion King one is nonsense. That is quite a recent production, and I believe health and safety laws have advanced to the point where real lions would not be allowed on stage with trained actors. And no, and before you say anything, they're not circus performers, they're actors. There's a difference. They're not dealing in handling of live animals. They're not trained.
Adrian?
Did we ever say that they were on stage? They could just be recordings.
Yeah, your sort of could and faltering leads me to believe that perhaps they weren't. Right, the second fact was that Singing in the Rain was originally performed as... Was it Singing in Milk?
Yes, that is correct.
What does that even mean?
Oh, instead of water, they had milk.
Okay.
Because in black and white times, clear wouldn't show up.
Phil, do you want to field this one?
Just singing in milk. See, whereas, well, there's kind of different semantics here. You know, with like singing in the rain, you
Count it.
as a kind of constant, even though it's lots of little things. Whereas in milk suggests like the presence of a massive bowl of milk, and all of the numbers would be rubbish, like. And 2 hours of that is probably rubbish. That's just hypothetical. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Also, I have seen Singing in the Rain, and even in black and white, there is a noticeable difference between water and milk. They are very different
Okay.
things. One is a light milky colour, and the other is water.
A light milky colour. Mostly like brown milk or something.
Chocolate milk, you get chocolate milk.
Alright then, talking of chocolate for blood in Hitchcock films.
See, I think this is plausible because I think when thrown against in Psycho, Phil, you're a Hitchcock fan. Psycho is in black and white.
Yes, it is.
Good, that's good. So I think, Phil, do you think if you were to throw treacle against that wall right now, and if this life was in black and white, it would look like blood?
I'm not
Sufficiently.
Sure. Well, treacle's kind of blacker than chocolate sauce, I guess. How do you know the kind of cocoa ratio of the sauce they would have used?
Adrian?
Alas, no.
We just know it was chocolate.
Yes.
Gareth?
Unfortunately, it's a fact now lost to the ages, I'm afraid, Philip. The viscosity and cocoa content of that treacle sauce. I think that sounds... I'd like that one. I like that one. I think that sounds good. I mean, the Lions one is just ridiculous. That can't be true. It's just silly. Where else you could put in the orchestra pit? No, they can't play tubas. It's just stupid. The treacle one, like I said, I liked, and the Singing in the Milk one is preposterous because there would have been something about Gene Kelly coming out smelling like a dairy farm after the filming. So, Phil, will you support me if I was to say that the treacle one was the truth?
1,000 times yes.
I love
would.
you, Philip. Right, that's the right one.
So you've gone with the Hitchcock chocolate...
Treacle.
Treacle. Team Fire, do you want to reveal if that is the truth?
That is true.
Yay! I knew we'd get it back.
2 points each there. It's still neck and neck in this final. It's very tense. Moving on to Cats and Nazis. This game is for tonight's guests. That's Phil and Lauren. Each guest is given 4 unrelated topics, which they must link up via simple, logical steps to form a story which lasts a minute. So we'll start with Lauren, your 4 words are disco, Neptune, onion, and chuckle vision. Quite looking forward to the last link. So you have a minute, Lauren, and your minute starts now.
This was it. I had to win the big disco final, or no one would ever respect me again.
So I
Dance my danciest. But luckily, I had a special move up my sleeve. It was called the Neptune Twist. It involved jumping round and squiggling about, and generally being funky. And so I went to the disco, and I did the Neptune Twist. And they all went as green as young onions in the summer. They were green with envy, they were. But little did I know, my opponents were just much better than me. Little did I know who would come on. I saw their faces. I saw 2 moustaches appear. To me, to you, they said, "Oh no, it's the Chuckle Brothers from Chuckle Vision." And they danced the night away.
Green as young onions in the sun. Okay, Phil, your words are blender, Berlin, orangutan, and Lego.
Oh, wonderful.
And your minute starts now.
I am but a simple man living a ramshackle life outside of Stranraer on Mars. And one constant friend I've had throughout my life would have to be Billy, my blender. We've blended so much together. We've blended carrots, we've blended fruits, we've blended the elderly, and the location of our most recent exploit was in fact sunny old Berlin. Berlin. Well, me and the blender, obviously I had to buy one of those adapters so I could plug him into European plugs because I didn't want him to die on me because we've been through so much. And we went to the zoo in Berlin, which was fascinating because it was full of
lots of orangutans.
The orangutans, we decided to bash them with a steak tenderizer and bash them into Lego. But then we dried this Lego, we put it on top of the radiator and we cut it up and we left it out in the sun. And ding dong, there was lots of lovely, lovely Lego, which we used to build a home for the orangutans we didn't kill.
Very good.
Adrian?
I struggle to believe that orangutans can be made into Lego. I mean, how do you get the little blobs on top?
See, that's the thing. If you've already made something for getting the straight edges and everything, if you wear like a coat that has poppers on it, if you put like a little bit of the orangutan juice into each of the poppers, and then you make some slip out of some orangutan dryness that you've made wet, like, you know, Clay, like you did in like year 9 art, and then you put some of that on top of the existing bricks, and then you put the 8 little knobbles
On top.
or 16 depending on the bit, and then hey presto, you've got orangutan Lego. Orangutan Lego skeptic.
Lauren?
Well, I'm afraid what you didn't consider is orangutans are orange, and in a conventional Lego set, you can't get orange Lego.
In a conventional one, you can't get orange bricks. However, I have a vast collection of Lego, and I have got orange. Quite a lot. Because I had an orange thing Lego, and there were other buildings with, like, Harry Potter Lego has lots of orange, and I can't believe I just admitted to having said that, because it does mean at the time I bought it, I was probably about 15 years old. And Adrian, please take this away from me.
Did you get the orange Sebulba Pod Racer set? Because that had lots of orange.
Oh, yeah, it did!
Yeah, so, Lauren.
Because Star Wars is cool, and the Star Wars Lego is cooler.
Boys are cool.
Yeah.
A point apiece at the end of that round. Still a draw. Collaborative fiction is the third round. This round is for everyone played in their team pairs. Each has been given a word or topic that no one else knows. Together, each pair tell a story incorporating their word, but skillfully concealing it, as they cannot mention their actual word or related words. Teammates will guess each other's words. Team Star, that's Gareth and Phil, will start with you. If you want to choose a word each. Okay, I'll give you a moment to look at those and related words. Only the audience at home can hear this. Gareth's word is wardrobe, and he cannot say clothes or any item of clothing. Cupboard, closet, or furniture. Phil's word is tiger, and he cannot say orange, stripes, black, cat, India, or jungle. We'll go back and forth, back and forth. We'll start with Phil. And the story starts, Stephen was a thief.
Stephen was a thief, but little did he know his thieving days would soon be over, as he would be met with thieving prowess at the hands of some kind of mammal.
Some kind of mammal that lived in the back of a wooden chest of dreams. A chest of dreams where people would come out of a magical realm populated by snow and magical fairy creatures.
This patterned mammal would go from the land of the fairy creatures and stop this man stealing all of these things. He was a very colourful chap indeed.
He liked to wear scarves and various other paraphernalia of that type. He came and he liked to help. He came from this magical cupboard of dreams.
The magical cupboard of dreams was very colourful indeed, and there was quite a warm climate due to the place where it was.
A warm climate that was warmer in this thing of dreams, this wooden thing of dreams, because it was so enclosed and so small, and I don't think a human being could fit in there properly unless it was a transportation to a magical realm.
The end. Good story, made sense, which is always a plus. Gareth, do you want to guess Phil's word?
No, well, I can't even remember it because
A patterned mammal live somewhere hot.
zebra.
No, that's the first guess. You got one more.
Okay. I don't know what's the other.
Something with prowess, something.
Patterned. Leopard? No.
Oh, it was in fact a tiger.
A tiger
Is that patterned?
with stripes.
You're right. It is. I was not good at animals or places.
This is why I'm the host. Okay. Phil, unfortunately you can't guess, or you can't get points for guessing Gareth Singh because he said two of the words he wasn't allowed
So-
to. But have a guess anyway.
Was it wardrobe?
Yes.
So
But you did.
You get no points at the end of that.
Oh wow, this
Joe.
is going well.
So Team Fire, Adrian and Lauren, they've been sitting comfortably. But can they... so comfortably they're actually falling asleep. That's how bad they think you did. But let's see if they can get a point. So it's the same again, back and forth, back and forth. We'll start with Lauren, and their story starts. The gorillas were learning.
The gorillas were learning. By learning, they decided to look at the little sunshiny earth dwellers that lived all around them in the beautiful forest.
They decided to stretch skin around wood and start bashing it to a great tune.
But then, when they were bored of that, they got back to the little earthy protuberances that reminded them so much of something they couldn't have until they were slightly more evolved, something that was very nice to have on toast.
Bash, bash, tinkle, tinkle, bash, bash, went their strange devices that they'd invented as they danced around the mounds on the ground.
And this made them very happy, this dancing they did, and so happy that they
Just picked up an
armful of the ground dwellers and sniffed them, and this made them very happy.
It was happy, and they danced in great circles, bashing and tinkling and tankling.
The end. A story that had two plots going on at the same time. This will be quite interesting. Adrian, do you want to have a guess at Lauren's word?
Let's see, it was sort of mounds that you put on toast that you can gather in armfuls.
And they make you happy.
Sunshiny earth dwellers.
Were they peanuts?
No. That's the first guess. You got one more.
Sunshiny earth dwellers.
That's right.
We have
Yeah,
established.
sunshiny earth dwellers.
that you can put on.
Toast.
No,
And you gather them together, and they make you happy.
Were they antidepressants?
What? No, they weren't. Amazingly, it's crazy, though, isn't it? Lauren, do you want to reveal?
they were buttercups!
Wonderful.
And I also...
Phil, Gareth, you take the
Ah,
point.
yes, of course. What a lovely morning it is. Breakfast, toast. I'll go outside the garden, gather up a nice bundle of antidepressants and eat them on my toast.
Adrian.
I've never eaten buttercups on my toast.
I've never eaten antidepressants on my toast.
Lauren, can you explain this, please?
Okay, you can have butter on toast. In fact, you mostly do. And that's part of the word. And I'm thinking outside the box.
All right, Lauren, can you redeem your team and redeem your strange, out-of-the-box thinking by guessing Adrian's?
Was it a drum?
Well, it's not a drum. That's one guess. You get a second one.
It went tinkly tankly.
Tankily, a skin over wood.
Percussion?
That's not a thing.
Yes, it is!
Well, it is, but
It's a collective noun.
it's a collective noun. So unfortunately, you can't get that. Adrian?
It was a tambourine.
A tambourine.
Oh,
No one gets any points.
We're still in this, Phil.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
It is.
Supposedly we're the best
This
as
is
well.
shaping up to be a good final.
A final with no winners. But an awful lot of losers. The Curious Case of Mr. De Vries. Last time we'll play round 4 this series. And I read some biographies recently and they weren't that
Great.
So I've taken the key moments from their lives, and I'd like our captains, that's Gareth and Adrian, to rewrite their biography within a minute via simple, logical steps. We'll start with Gareth, and I'd like him to rewrite the biography of Miss Malcontent, age 99, lost a bet with Charles Dickens, fears forks, why, and collects tangerine peel and preserves them. Why?
Right, okay.
And your minute starts now.
Miss Malcontent, age 99. Obviously, she's been around a long time. As we all know, 99 years is sufficiently long to have been around with Charles Dickens. Now, Charles Dickens had a bet on that he couldn't write a book about a character whose second name was a bodily movement. She said, you can write a book and it'll be really successful. Oliver Twist was really good. It's been made a lot of money. So she won that bet. So, also, Miss Malcontent fears forks. Now, this is because in a cycling accident, she went headfirst into a cutlery shop. So actually ended up with a fork in her eye. Now, of course, this is quite painful. The fork had to be
Removed. The eye did come out.
with it, which is related to the next fact. She collects tangerine peel and preserves it because one day she hopes to reconstruct this eye she's lost out of tangerine peel. She wants to keep it in a jar so it will congeal and form an eye shape, which she can then paint with her homemade egg paints and make into the shape of an eye, which will also taste like tangerine when she's bored.
Didn't Charles Dickens
Die in the 1800s.
No, he didn't. He died less than 99 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 1985.
Well, that shows me.
He just chose to write in a Victorian style.
Also, is a twist really a bodily movement? Because it's really more a movement of anything.
Do you have a body?
Yes.
Can you twist with it?
Oh, God!
Thus, it is a bodily movement.
Lauren?
now you say she made her eye out of tangerine peel. Wouldn't it be more sensible to use a potato?
Whilst that may be true, Lauren, she had a penchant, if you will, to liberate the French word, for tangerines, and they taste better when she gets bored. Have you ever licked a raw potato? Not good. Have you ever licked a tangerine? Nice.
Adrian, your biography is Mr. Doug Deep. Only wears clothes made of fish scales. Why? Gifted the rusty yo-yo, and what was the achievement? And addicted to wallpaper glue. Why? And your minute starts now.
Mr. Doug Deep was born in the middle of the ocean. This was due to an aeroplane accident where his mother had fallen out of the plane, but somehow managed to survive to the point where she could give birth. However, poor Mr. Doug Deep was adopted by the dolphin cult of the mid-Atlantic. Now, the dolphin cult wears only fish scales, for humans anyway. Their actual dolphins have sort of fur-like stuff, but their human subjects wear fish scales. Doug Deep eventually managed to escape the dolphin cult and waged war on the country of Wales. This was a problem for all the Welsh people, but great for the English, who gifted him the rusty
yo-yo. However,
this all went to his head later in life. He couldn't deal with the great weight of pressure that the rusty yo-yo bestows, and he became a terrible addict to wallpaper glue, which gave him lots of funny pictures of light in his head.
Well done.
A cult of dolphins. Is that the collective noun?
Can I dispute scientifically and logically how a woman gives birth either mid-air or after hitting the ocean after a plane crash?
Maybe she fell onto a mattress that also fell out of the plane.
What, was this a mattress transporting plane? Because that's pretty damn convenient if it was, because I don't know any other planes that have mattresses in them.
Have you not heard all those miraculous stories of people who fell out of planes and survived with only 2 broken legs? It would explain why Doug Deep had to be adopted when his mother died, because she had broken legs.
Lauren?
In any case, how else do you think you get mattresses from one country to the other?
Can I also, you said he became addicted to wallpaper glue, right? Because of the great pressure bestowed upon him by the rusty yo-yo. I can't see that a rusty yo-yo would put great pressure upon you because he's done the war. It's not like it's overshadowing him. Also, wallpaper glue, pretty damn thick. How did he ingest it but to become addicted to it?
Adrian.
The rusty yo-yo is actually quite a lot like the Order of the Garter. In and of itself, it's just a woman's suspenders. But...
What?
Or a man's.
We don't discriminate on AMOF.
But with the rusty yo-yo, itself is quite boring and mundane, but has with it great responsibility and nobility bestowed.
Boring and mundane do spring to mind, so at the end of that round, Gareth is going to get both points for his story. Final round of the
Series
is called... Are you ready for this?
Yeah, ready.
Elaborating in the aim of... Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah!
Oh, clever!
I
good.
see it now.
Thanks, Lauren. And this round is for everyone. And I would like them to elaborate on a story for me. They will take it in turns to add something to the story, but must repeat what was said previously. And we'll go guess, captain, and we'll start with Lauren, if that's okay. And the story starts. The last man alive heard a knock at the door.
The last man alive.
Heard a knock at the door. But then again, he did have a very knocky door after the apocalypse.
The Knockalypse, which had left his door very knocky, and had left him the last person on Earth. And the person responsible for the knocking this time was, in fact, a mutant killer bear eyebrow.
The last man alive heard a knock at the door, but it was a very knocky door since the Anocalypse, which wiped out all life on the planet. But the knocking this time was caused by a mutant bear's eyebrow, which was inviting the last man alive out for dinner.
The last man alive had a knock at his door. His door had become more knocky after the Anocalypse, which made all doors very knockable. Of course, at his door was a mutant bear's eyebrow, which wanted to invite him out for tea and crumpets. These crumpets, however, were killer crumpets due to the Anocalypse, and also wanted to eat him.
The last man alive after the Anocalypse, an event where everyone was killed by a big bowl of gnocchi, had a knock at the door. This was a killer mutant bear eyebrow who invited him for tea and crumpets. But the crumpets were killer crumpets, and they had grown teeth which were going to eat him.
Okay, so there's a knock at the door, possibly due to the Anocalypse, which has left one person remaining. So the man goes to the door and he finds a mutant killer bear eyebrow that's inviting him out for tea, and he's inviting him out for tea and killer crumpets, but they are killer crumpets, and killer crumpets kill people. So instead, he decided to run away from the vicinity and go to a Jimi Hendrix concert, which was happening in his head.
The last man alive heard a knock at the door. It was a very knocky door because all doors had been left knocky thanks to the Anocalypse. But the cause of this knock on the knocker door, which happened because of the Anocalypse, was in fact a giant mutant bear's eyebrow, which invited him for tea and crumpets. Unfortunately, they were killer crumpets and had grown large teeth and wanted to kill him. So the man who was the last man alive decided he would run away from the giant bear's eyebrow and his killer crumpets in order to go to a Jimi Hendrix concert only he could see because it was in his head, and while there played
Tennis with
George Washington.
Okay, last man alive, who is left alive due to the Anocalypse, which made all doors knocky, heard a knock at his door. It was, in fact, a killer mutant bear's eyebrow. And he said, do you want to come out for tea and crumpets? And the man said, yes, but aren't they crumpet killers? And he said, yes, they are crumpet killers, that's why we'll stay away from the crumpets. And so he decided that this was a silly idea because he actually rather liked crumpets and would be offended by crumpet killers. So he ran away to see a Jimi Hendrix concert in his head, played tennis with George Washington, and of course, surf with Abraham Lincoln. This was a man obsessed with US presidents because he thought it was a conspiracy theory, which is why the Anocalypse had happened.
The last man alive was drinking a mocha during the Anocalypse after the Anocalypse, and then he had an eyebrow knocking at his knocky door, and he decided, oh, maybe I should go for crumpets with him. But then he remembered they were killer crumpets, and he decided, oh, Jimi Hendrix, take me now up to my brain. And he went up to his brain, and then he saw George Washington surfing or something with badminton, and he played with him all day and all night, and then they decided to get married.
Anocalypse now, a lone victim, hearing his knocky door, strokes the scar of his inoculation. He opens the door and finds it's a mutant killer bear eyebrow.
inviting him over for killer crumpets. The guy goes,
No, this isn't happening, mate. Jimi Hendrix concert, purely in his head, and there he's playing badminton with one US president and going surfing with another US president because he likes US presidents, because, hey, who doesn't? And also there was that whole business where there was, well, I mentioned the badminton, did I not? and eventually they got married, and then they had a baby who was Harry S. Truman, who was really good at equestrian events.
The last man alive after the anocalypse was drinking a mocha because all the doors were knocky and there was bears of eyebrows that were knocking at the door because they were knocky because of the anocalypse, and they invited the last man alive out for tea and crumpets, but the crumpets were killer crumpets with big sharp teeth. So the man said, no thanks, I'm going to the Jimi Hendrix concert in my head. While there, he played badminton with George Washington and surfed with Abraham Lincoln because, like all upstanding right gentlemen who survived the anocalypse, he had a terrible fascination with US presidents. They later got married and had a baby, which was Harry S. Truman, who would then declare war on Cyber Vietnam in 2357.
Last man alive after the anocalypse is wondering where's the small Mexican
Boy with my latte. Here's a knock at the door and goes to answer it. There's a bear there whose eyebrows are made entirely of crumpets and tea. The man thinks, screw this is just trippy, and decides to go to the Jimi Hendrix concert in his head instead, where he plays badminton with Washington, surfs with Lincoln, gets married to Lincoln and Washington, screw it, and has a baby that is Harry S. Truman, who declares war on Cyber Vietnam in the year 2037, which then has another anocalypse, thus creating a paradox, and reality is sucked into itself, leaving only a single latte.
And
they all lived happily ever after.
So that was elaborating in the AMOF. I like that one. I think that was going to be the name from now on, actually. And the points, ladies and gentlemen, for the final. Team Star, that's Gareth Monk and Phil Carruthers, have 5 points. Team Fire, Adrian MacIlroy Speed and Rory Cooke Dobson have 5 points. It's a
No!
Rory can't win!
This is impossible.
At the end of that, it was totally pointless. This whole series was for nothing. I won. Just to, so we don't go home and cry, we'll flip a coin.
Isn't there a better tiebreaker than this? Haven't we got something we could do? Did you not plan for this eventuality? Oh, this is ridiculous. I'm going to say this now. This is the stupidest thing ever. Phil, what do you want, heads or tails?
Oh gosh.
Pick one.
I've heard
I won't hate you if
statistically-
it's wrong.
This might be an urban myth. Heads is statistically more likely to win because there's more mass on the head, so it's likely to pull the count. Or it could be rubbish.
We'll go with heads.
Team Star, Gareth and Phil win. Tails, Adrian and Lauren win. You can cut the tension here with your face.
Ow.
Okay.
Ow.
It's flipped. It's landed. It's over. It's head!
Yes! 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 Coin flipping is the greatest thing ever. I take back anything negative that I previously said about coin flipping.
Well done, Gareth. You've won by pure...
Free?
No.
Oh.
Well, good grief, everyone. Team Fire, Adrian and Lauren, you did come second overall. You did lose by a coin flip. Have you any thoughts of the entire series?
Well, frankly, I thought it was a stupid idea.
Team Winner,
Yeah.
which you can actually keep for the next series if you like. Any plans for the future, or what have you thought on the whole series?
Well, I'm gonna find the Queen and kiss her face because that's why I won. Apart from that, I'm just gonna go out and enjoy myself in life. I'm gonna live life to the full now that I've won AMOF. Phil.
I'm thinking of taking this thing abroad. I'm just going to go to Seattle or Chicago and see if, on the off chance they have a panel show, and on the off chance they keep the back door unlocked, and I can just appear there and occasionally talk about sentient eyebrows.
it was actually a draw, and that means I get to choose a song to play us out.
But we won.
No, it was a draw.
But we won.
You won the coin toss, but not the matter of
But
fiction.
we won.
The rules say...
But we won.
White a shade of pale by Procol
Oh,
Harum.
that's all right. That's an agreeable choice. It's okay.
Yes, it is. And, I've learned something today. I've learned that wallpaper paste is refreshingly addictive. Teddy Bear's Picnic is the sole remnant of a happy childhood before incontinence, middle-aged, and death. The Chuckle Brothers are disco ducks.
Gene Kelly smells like a dairy farm.
Cocoa content was integral to all of Alfred Hitchcock's films. Boys are cool. The ideal habitat for a blender is a house constructed entirely of orangutan Lego. And Charles Dickens was around long enough to appreciate Spandau Ballet in 1985. I've been Rory Cooke. You've been listening to A Matter of Fiction. Thanks very much for listening.
If you've enjoyed this series of A Matter of Fiction, then stay tuned over the coming weeks for an outtake special featuring all of our favourite bits from the series and some that didn't quite make it to air, a live broadcast from the Evening of the Arts event for Radio as Buddy Gwyneth, and the AMOF Rory special, where our host will team up with one lucky panellist to take on this year's winners. Thanks again for listening, and good night.
This show was brought to you by Bangor Comedy. For information on more shows, radio broadcasts, and how you can get involved, check us out on Facebook. Just search Bangor Comedy, or send us an email at comedy@undeb.bangor.ac.uk.